maintenance, repair and overhaul sector be treated in exactly the same way that the IT and ITES industry is being treated across India? Same benefits, the same tax advantages?
You know, the MRO is in very nascent stages. In a nascent stages, any kind of benefits you can give and make it easier, the tax regime and various procedural regime will boom this industry. And if you really look at it, there is hardly any capacity of MRO in India today. And I believe government can improve itself to take these barriers away, whatever there exists, including the various tax side of it and treating them. Because doing the MRO it will happen wherever it's going to be the most value creation. So it is government needs to look at that and provide. And Karnataka IT boomed because of government restrictions taken away.
And I'm going to go back to Vivek Mallya. Vivek, I'm going to touch upon a topic that you brought about earlier in the discussion, the one of technology. Right? There's a 26% cap on foreign direct investment in this sector. At 26%, will global majors be willing to come to India, set up shop and transfer technology?
Before I answer the question, one more add-on to the MRO. In a 4-hour fly zone, which is Singapore and Dubai, we don't have a good MRO facility. Okay. Or rather, we have no MRO facility. Okay. India is, while the military MRO is managed by HAL, the civilian MRO for a country with aircraft size as India is dependent on Singapore or Dubai as the nearest aircraft, or rather nearest port of call for an MRO. So forget about global MRO outsourcing to India. I'm just talking about domestic ability to cater to the demand in MRO. We have not. That's
enough to sustain a whole
enough
MRO
to sustain a whole.
In India. I'm going to come back to the earlier question on technology. 26% FDI cap. Good enough incentive for the Rolls Royces and the Pratt and Whitneys and the Lockheeds of the world to come and transfer technology to India?
That's a significant barrier. Clearly, it's a significant barrier. If it was not a barrier, then...
Is it a financial concern or a defense concern in terms of secrets, in terms of the sensitivity of defense issues?
No, the aerospace sector is very co-joined, both in military and civilian sectors.
It cannot be separated as defense and...
Not really. It cannot possibly be separated to the last item between this is civilian and this is military. And therefore, the US does have certain export control barriers on transfer of technology. And also the small SMEs in those countries may not want to transfer the technology to a SME here because at 26% they may not have board control, they may not have control over the technology and the end usage of it. So I think 26% is a barrier and the government needs to look at it because now we have...
At 51%, is the government concerned that sensitive areas are being controlled by foreign companies?
It is a legitimate concern of the government and I think there is discussions and in the past the defense minister has talked about a 51% hike from 26 to 51, but I think it's a policy matter, and I think there is a lot of aspects which need to go into it rather than pure financial or pure technology. So it can be the defense and security aspects also are very interconnected. So I think that's a tough decision to make for the government as well.
What would that do to the industry overall? If you went from 26 to 51 overnight, will the industry just explode in India?
Definitely, there are going to be more businesses going to be established. For example, today we have joint ventures with Michelin Corporation in our SEZ to do surface treatment. It's a technology transfer. Okay, we ended up doing at 50-50 because at 26 it wouldn't have happened.
Okay,
and we focused on commercial requirements of the business, of the needs. So we could do it, and it's not going to be supporting defense specific activities. It's not a FDI for that reason. But at 26%, if you had to focus on offsets and various other things, it wouldn't have happened.
All right, we're almost at the end of this discussion. I'm going to ask for closing remarks from all the panelists next. I started this discussion by saying that the history of aviation is 107 years old. That's pretty young for any industry. Give us your quick view. Where will we be? If we were doing this discussion 10 years from now, sitting at this very same, in the city of Bangalore, what would we be talking about?
Well, we would have been past all these capability issues, and India would be able to do will be solidly on a program or a partnerships will be there.
Would you have flown here on an Indian plane?
I don't think so.
That's 20 years away.
It's 10 years away, you said. Maybe 20 years away, okay. I would say.
Dr. Khatri, I'm going to ask you the same question with a small twist. Where will Karnataka be 10 years from now?
Well, I see that Karnataka would be the
undisputed leader in India.
Undisputed leader. Not only it will be a aerospace hub of the globe, just like it's recognized as an innovation city, the Bangalore is recognized that. I see that the tier 2 and tier 3 city also will have functional airports. Already a large number of them are coming up. And I see these SMEs actively involved in the aerospace component and auto components. This procurement, the Karnataka will become one of the prime source of these components, and of course MROs as well.
Right. So there is the future is looking bright for the
Very
state
bright.
of Karnataka, and you say without doubt that within the other states within India, this is going to be one of the leading.
Karnataka
players,
is
not
going
the
to
leading player.
It will be the leading player.
Vivek Mallya, my last question to you. Bangalore has been the quiet hub of aerospace since 1940, and not many people realize that HAL is a 70-year-old company. Correct. It's not a company that's been thought about recently. Arvind is just talking about some of the capabilities that take 20, 30 years to achieve. And one would imagine organizations like HAL and NAL and AD already have those capabilities. Right? In 10 years from today or 20 years from today, are you going to see all of these merged into one mega corporation like a NASA or like any of these organizations? Or will these individual organizations continue to have their relevance?
It's a tough question, but I think, like I said again before, as a student of aerospace, I think we'll follow the global cue. Mm-hmm. Every company has its own capability. Okay. Every company has its own value to bring to the chain. And for example, in the US, there is Boeing, there is Lockheed Martin, and there is Bombardier. There is General Electric, there is Pratt & Whitney, there is United Technologies, each with their own capability in the aerospace sector. So I see this as an opportunity for India, and I see it as an opportunity for Karnataka that we have such wide expanse of capability since 1940s, and it's only a matter of time before the sun starts shining.
All right. Vivek Mallya, Dr. Khatri, Arvind Melligeri, thank you very much for being part of this special discussion on CNBC TV 18. That brings us to the end of this discussion on the aerospace industry. This is once again, like I said, a part of Advantage Karnataka, the global investor meet that's scheduled in June. Thanks for watching CNBC TV 18.